everyone, I'm Melanie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be starting a reading vlog focusing on books that were inspired by Mulan. Some of these books were specifically inspired by Mulan, some of them probably weren't, but they have kind of the Mulan trope in them. I'm going to start with the one that was actually inspired by Mulan, which is The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. This book follows a girl whose father refuses to accept the imperial draft, so as a way to escape a marriage that she doesn't want, she decides to enlist as her father. So this is why this is the most Mulan inspired book, and I'll start with that. This is an adult fantasy as well. The next book that I think is kind of in the middle between these two books as how much it is inspired by Mulan is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I've been wanting to read this for so long and I just haven't picked it up, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to do so. There is, for some reason, no summary on the back of this book, but I believe she disguises herself as her brother to join the army. So I'll keep you posted later on when I do end up picking this up, a little bit more about what this book is about. And then lastly we have Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. This one is probably the least inspired by Mulan, but still I feel like it fits the bill. I believe this girl also disguises herself as her brother to join an engineering program. So lots of, you know, Mulan tropey stuff coming up, but I'm very excited to pick up these books. I'm actually very excited to read every single one of these books, so wish me luck. I have a lot to get through and I'm giving myself kind of a week and a half, so we'll see how far I get. But yeah, I'll be starting with The Night Ends with Fire. Hello again, everyone. I have officially started The Night Ends with Fire. Look at this naked hardback. It is so beautiful, isn't it? Oh man, I'm obsessed. I don't know if I like this more than the actual like hardcover cover, but lots of sprayed edges as well. So very happy with this edition. So I'm about, what page am I at? I'm on page 56. So far so good. The writing feels like a debut novel. I'm not actually sure if this is one, but definitely very straightforward, and it's kind of finding its footing, I think, right now. But so far, I'm enjoying it. It is very much like Mulan, but with a few changes. I would say it's more of like a Mulan reimagining rather than a retelling, because it's the same concept in a way, but just different story elements, and obviously I assume more will change as we go. We follow Mei Lin, who is our main character. She has a father who is an opium addict as well as gambling addict, so he's awful. He's very abusive as well. She has a young stepmother who she's very close with, so they kind of get through everything together, and her father refuses to answer the imperial summons to become a soldier. And so to make money, he decides to sell off his daughter basically to get married so he can get her dowry to basically an evil man. So Mei Lin goes to find out what this guy is like, and he's very abusive as well, like her own father. So she decides to take her father's summons and go to fulfill his role in the army with the help of her stepmother, but she ends up deciding to not join as her father, but more as his bastard son that no one knows exists. So that's the slight change, I would say, that I wasn't expecting. I thought she was going under her as her father, but that's kind of where we start off. There is kind of a character right now that I think emulates General Shang from Mulan, but we'll see. The author kind of alludes to that this will be a love triangle story, which I'm not sure I entirely like. She had a little note in the beginning for the special Fairy Loot edition talking about that, so we'll see where this goes, but so far I'm liking it. It still doesn't really feel like an adult book yet, even though there's some pretty dark themes already, so I'm curious to see if this will read like an adult book, because it is an adult book, or if it will read more YA, so I'm curious to see where that will go. But that being said, I will check in with you a little later.
Within ourselves throughout our life. And they had to seek it out. They invented these
back again. I'm at around 100 pages now, and honestly, I am very disappointed. I had such high hopes for this book. I was like, finally an adult Asian-inspired fantasy, inspired by Mulan, which, you know, is war and can get very interesting. And it's just so badly written. It reads like a YA. Like, I don't understand why it was marketed as adult at all. And I know I'm only 100 pages in, but like, it feels like everything that happens is so convenient. Like, there's no development of the characters or of the relationships. The stakes are so low. Like, her motivations for joining the army are very, like, iffy. Like, it makes sense, but it just doesn't feel like it justifies, like, how she acts. And so, I don't know, I'm just very frustrated. I just still can't find a, like, very well written, like, adult Asian inspired fantasy. I know I still need to read The Poppy War, and I have a couple more on this list, but I don't know if I will continue this. I might end up DNFing. I haven't decided fully yet, but I just don't know if I'm gonna, like, want to waste my time with something I don't really enjoy reading, because honestly it just keeps frustrating me the more I read. But there's a lot more to the story. I will say I really do like how they incorporated Mushu into this story. This is going to be a more ranty section, so there will be mild spoilers, so if you don't want any of that, please skip this part. But Mushu is turned into kind of this jade seal necklace that basically has the Azure Dragon within it, which once you're wearing the necklace, you can kind of talk with the Azure Dragon, and he'll guide you, and you can enter this kind of dream land to talk to him as well. And so the Azure Dragon is part of, like, the Chinese mythology of the four guardians. There's the Azure Dragon, Black Tortoise, Vermilion Bird, and the White Tiger. So I assume there's, like, going to be other seals that play into this that give you powers like the Azure Dragon one does. So that aspect I love, and I think that's a very interesting way of including the dragon of Mushu in there, the kind of guiding dragon. So the concept is just so good, it's just so not executed well. Like, for example, she joins the army. Well, she randomly meets, like, a prince on the street early on in the book, Prince Liu, who's, I assume, the first male love interest. And so when she joins the army, she ends up, like, assigned to his battalion, because I guess all of the Imperial Commander's sons are, like, commanders of the battalions. So she like, luckily ends up in his. He obviously doesn't know she's her because they met once and she's pretending to be a boy now. Or at least I don't know if he does or not, but we assume he doesn't know at this point. And, like, they become friends, like, so quickly and so easily. Like, there's no, like, stakes to them building a trust or friendship. They're just like, oh, hey, like, you're my buddy now. And it's, like, the commander of the battalion and this, like, random soldier. So it's that kind of, like, missed character development that it's like, nothing happened that, like, made them gain trust for each other or, like, anything. It was just, like, circumstantial. So that's the kind of stuff that really bothers me. Like, there could have been such an interesting way to, like, convey, like, how they developed their friendship. Like, it's like a more stronger bond, kind of. So it's just a lot of telling rather than showing. And the dialogue is just so basic. Like, there's nothing, like, interesting. There's no, like, atmosphere or vibe to, like, the writing either. Like, it's just kind of bland. I don't know. I'm really disappointed and on a ranty mood, so I'm gonna go in on this a little bit more than I usually do. But I, like, took notes about everything that's happening, so yeah, things just happen so conveniently. Like, she's gifted the dragon seal, like, by her stepmother just randomly right before she goes. It's just it's just so convenient in a way. Like, the close proximity is convenient. Like, that's kind of the only reason that they're, like, they know each other at all. I know there's, like, a second love interest that happens later, but I don't really care at this point. And yeah, like you don't see her like trying to develop her skills on her own. Like she barely, like she like stays up late at night to like work on her training and all of that. But like then like very quickly like Prince Liu finds her and like helps her train. And so it's just like everything is like she gets better because of him rather than herself. And that bothers me as well. You know what I mean? It's just there could have been so much more like character development for our main character before introducing anyone else. And they're just not. It's the characters are just meh. And also this is a book about war. Like they're going to war. Like I really wanted it to like be about the brutality of war and like how awful that is, and even like the training process is awful, like the camp process, and it's just like not that. Maybe I just want it to be darker than it is, but even then it's like there's no depth. It feels like there's absolutely no depth to anything that happens or reasoning. It just kind of happens, and it's frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. I also really hate like the reluctant chosen one trope. Like I really hate when people like know they have these abilities, but they're like, oh, I didn't ask for this. Oh, I don't want it. Like I hate it. Like it's so annoying to me, and that's what happens here. She like utilizes the Jade like subconsciously, like without trying to, and she's just like, no, this isn't happening. Like just complete denial, and I'm just like, girl, come on. I'm just like really ready for like a really good writer to write an Asian inspired fantasy. So if you do have any recommendations, I'm talking about like newer ones. So if you do have any recommendations like for writers that you think fit that bill, please let me know. I think the closest we got to with like great writing was Sulin Tan from Daughter of the Moon Goddess, but to me the plot didn't like fully hit, but her writing was beautiful. And I really like Six Crimson Cranes. I wouldn't say that writing was beautiful. It was more standard, but the story was worth it. So and the character development was there. So yeah, I'm still gonna keep looking, I guess. I have higher hopes for She Who Became the Sun because it is more adult. I think it's more along the lines of the Poppy War. It is sapphic, and I believe it is more like brutal and dark. So I'm excited for that. But I think this had so much potential, and it's just like really not hitting it for me, and I was so excited for it, so I'm a little bummed. But it's like, why market this as an adult fantasy when it's not? Like, I don't know. I'm still like, I'm only 100 pages in. That's like a quarter of the way through, so things could change. I just don't really expect it to based on where we are now. I'll let you know if I keep going or decide to end it for now and move on to the next one. But yeah, that's how I feel, and I am bummed about it, and it's unfortunate, and I'm just kind of frustrated at this point. But especially because the Song of Six Realms, which was YA, like felt exactly the same type of writing as this one. So there's just, I don't know why these writers, and I'm sorry to say that, I don't know why these writers just like don't want to dive deeper into these characters or like give us more depth to everything. Not sorry, but that's how I feel right now. And this isn't her debut novel. She has had one before this. So she's pretty early on in her career, so I can't really fault her for that. It's just, I feel like this was marketed to me differently than it actually is, and that's annoying to me. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. That's that, and my rant is done. Hi everyone. It is the next day. I just got back from Pilates, and I definitely need to shower, but I thought I'd check in with you guys first. After thinking about it, I decided to soft DNF The Night Ends with Fire for now. That very well might turn into a hard DNF. I am though curious to see what happens, so we'll see. I'll see if I just look it up or if I try to skim through it. But that's what I've decided for now, just based on yesterday and how frustrated it made me. Like, why would I put myself through that? And every time I kept reading, I was just like nitpicking it, and that's just not a positive way to read books, I feel like. So I think it's what's best for me, and I'm excited to start She Who Became the Sun next. I think that'll be a little more up my alley, but I'll keep you posted. I have the day to myself. It's Saturday.
Kaylin is off playing a board game for an entire day, which he loves. I don't understand it, but you know, to each his own. But I might do a little bit of my Lego orchid kit that he got me a while back that I haven't had time to do. I'll definitely get some reading done. I do have to film a video for Wednesday as well, so yeah, I'll check back in with you once I've started She Who Became the Sun. Started She Who Became the Sun. I am on page 80 now, which is the first full part, and finally this is like exactly what I wanted to read in terms of like the writing style and like the adultness of it. So far I'm loving it. Like, this is great, and this is so much more what I was expecting from The Night Ends with Fire, but thank God this was my next choice because I was getting really worried. So this book, we follow a girl who we don't really know her first name. She goes by her last name, Zhu, who is raised by her father and her older brother, who's only older by a year, during this big famine in the Central Plains. And basically they're struggling. Their entire family died off except for the three of them remaining. On the brother's birthday, the father brings him to a fortune teller to get his fortune read as a gift, and he is told that the son will become someone great. And then the daughter, Zhu, is told that she will become nothing. So two very different fates for these siblings. So later on, they're attacked by bandits, and her father is killed, and her brother dies the next day out of grief. And so she is left alone, but she remembers a promise that her father made to the monastery to bring his son to become a monk at the age of 12. So she decides to become Zhu Chongba, her brother, and fight for a place at this monastery. So she goes there, and after waiting for a long time, gets admitted. So that's very much the very beginning of this book, so I'm not really spoiling anything. It's also on the description on Goodreads. So from there, the first part kind of covers 9 years, so you get her starting at 10 all the way to 19. So very big like preamble to what's happening next, but there's a big war going on. Mongolia basically rules China at this point, but there's a big rebellion coming from the south, so a lot of war is to be expected in this book. But yeah, I love the writing. It's actually so well done and so intricate, and so big breath of fresh air with this one, and I'm excited to keep going. And I have a very pretty bookmark for it that I got in one of my book boxes that I'm excited to finally use because it fits the vibe. I forgot what book this is based off of. Maybe The Bone Season, which I haven't read, but very pretty. Right now. Yesterday I barely filmed anything. I was so sore from my Pilates class from the last day that I didn't want to do anything, though I did do some reading, of course, because I was in my bed all day. I got around halfway through the book now. I'm on page 192. I am still loving it. I've stayed up late extra last night to read more, so this is definitely right up my alley. At this point, there's kind of two POVs. So you get a perspective from the Mongol side, which is currently the ruling empire, and then you also get POVs from the rebellion side, so I like that aspect of it. There's a big variety of characters, and they're all really well written, so definitely enjoying that aspect. At this point, Zhu has left the monastery and has now decided to figure out how to become this great person. And I'm not going to tell you why or how she left the monastery. You can find that out for yourself. But she has found herself in the rebel territory. So hopefully I'll get through this pretty quick and then can pick up the last book, but having a great time so far. I'm currently making lunch right now, but I'll try to give you an update later if I get to anything. I have a little bit more free time today, but yeah, see you guys in a bit. Finished finally. I didn't film much yesterday because I was very busy, so I couldn't really get to it, but I finally finished. It is now Wednesday night. This book is so good. It's exactly what I needed. Such a great story and very well written. A lot about like how far ambition can take people and the consequences of that. There's kind of two main characters. The main character is definitely Zhu, who I talked about earlier, but there's another one named Ouyang, who is a eunuch. So they both kind of have similar ways the world views them, and there's like a weird interconnection between them. They're on separate sides of the war, so it's a very interesting dynamic. Yeah, it's like a lot of crazy stuff happens, and I love it. And yeah, this definitely shows the brutality of war and like the hunger for power. And so I'm very excited to pick up the next book in the series. This is a duology. I will probably pick it up sooner rather than later, but I will be starting my next book for this vlog, the final book, and that is of Jade and Dragons. I have around 3 days to finish this before the end of August, so let's hope I can. It's kind of long. It's like almost it's like over 450 pages, so we'll see how far I get. Wish me luck. I'm very excited. I think this one will be better than The Night Ends with Fire. It is YA though, so there's that I am conscious of, but I think the writing, I kind of looked through it a little bit. The writing looked a lot more mature than The Night Ends with Fire, which is so interesting because that one's supposed to be adult, so I don't really understand. But I'll keep you posted on once I start this. It is the next day and I started up Jade and Dragons last night, got just a few pages in, and now I'm on page, I think, 95, so almost 100 pages in. This definitely reads YA, but it is YA, so I won't fault it for that. So far, I think the story is interesting. Basically, we're following Ying, who, like her dad, is interested in engineering and building unique things. This world is kind of a silk punk world, which is like steampunk, but I think with Asian influences. So lots of technology, but in like a more ancient world. So very interesting setup. We start with Ying, who witnesses her father's murder, and her father gives her a journal to destroy, but she wants to figure out what's going on, why he was murdered, who murdered him, and so she decides to dress up as a boy and go to the city of Fae, where the Engineers Guild is. Her father was part of the Engineers Guild, and she thinks she'll find answers there. And along the way, she meets one of the High Commander's sons, who is commander of the military, who helps her get into the Engineers Guild. And so where I'm at now is they just entered the Engineers Guild, so we'll see what goes on. But so far I'm liking it. I mean, I don't think it's the best thing I've read yet, but having a good time. To join the guild, she is going as her younger brother, Min. So that is the Mulan trope aspect of this, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. With an update. I am now on page 250, over halfway through the book. It's picking up now. There's a lot more going on, so definitely more willing to read quicker. So hopefully, I don't have a lot of time tomorrow, and I have half the book left to go through, so we'll see how far I get. Hopefully I finish it by the end of the day tomorrow, so wish me luck. But at this point, they have entered the Engineers Guild. I forgot to mention that there's a set of tests that she needs to accomplish before she can officially become an apprentice at the guild. So she's a candidate apprentice along with a lot of other people, and so there's 4 main commanders under the High Commander, and each of them are able to select one person to sponsor throughout the process. And so the commander that she met earlier is the one that is sponsoring her through her tests. And so we just finished the first test, so I'm not going to give you any more information because I don't want to spoil anything, but so far so good. I am liking this a lot more than The Night Ends with Fire, and a lot more than Song of Six Realms. Sorry, I can only compare to those because it's very similar concepts, I would say. So far better, and I'm liking it.
officially September 1st. So I'm not entirely sure how long it's been since I started this video, but at least a week, probably over a week. I think maybe like a week and a few days. So with that said, I finished up Jade and Dragons last night. I stayed up very late to finish it. Technically finished it at 1 a.m. So I don't know if it's gonna count as August or September, but let's be real, it counts as August because I read like everything but 50 pages officially in August, so that's good. I read this very quickly. It was probably the longest book out of all three, so that's interesting. I really enjoyed this book. For a YA book, I thought it was pretty well written. I mean, not the best written YA book I've read, but I think she did really good character development. She had some good character arcs, and I really liked the end because it wasn't really what I was expecting. I think this is supposed to be a duology, so there's another book at least. It kind of ends on like a closed end, but not really also. And there were some surprises in here, which was nice. Overall, yeah, I think I would recommend this book, definitely. I gave this, actually I'll rank all of them in order, but I think you'll probably know what my ranking is by now. So top book, I think, out of this reading vlog is definitely She Who Became the Sun. This I gave 5 stars. This one was just so good, and if you like kind of war, and it was just, the whole concept of gender was talked about very interestingly, and what makes you who you are, like what your ambitions are, very, very interesting. And just very well written. Like, this book is so good, and I'm really excited to pick up the next one. Number 2 will be of Jade and Dragons. I will give this 4 stars. Yeah, I think overall I really enjoyed this book. It has a little bit of everything, which is nice. This one definitely felt like a C-drama, like the things that were included and everything. So I liked that aspect of it, so that was nice. And then last and certainly least is The Night Ends with Fire, which I DNF'd, and I don't think I'll pick it up, honestly. It's just so badly written in YA, and even though it's supposed to be adult, so that was frustrating. And yeah, after reading of Jade and Dragons, I don't think I was too harsh on this one. So yeah, I don't really want to rate DNFs, but like if I would give it like 2 stars, just because the concept is interesting, and because I didn't really read a lot of it. I read like a quarter of it, so I can't really say as to what happens later, but yeah, this one was disappointing. But overall, I had a really good time reading all these books. I finally got to ones that I want to get to, so that was good. But let me know if there's anything else in reading vlogs that you want me to read. You've seen my TBR, so let me know. I also did a little shopping today. Kaylin's gone, so I had the apartment to myself, and I just decided to go on a few errands. And so I, of course, ended up at Paper Source and Barnes & Noble, my 2 faves. So at Barnes, I did pick up He Who Drowned the World, which is the 2nd book in the Radiant Emperor duology. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to pick this up very soon because I don't want to wait too long. But so excited about this. And then I also randomly picked up Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, which never thought I would read, but I've just seen so many people talk about how much they love this book, and I didn't realize how short it was, and it's very short. And I saw this like awesome cover. I don't know if you can see it better here, but that's really cool. Like, I have seen like kind of the one with the white with the green kind of vine going through it. But this one I was like, what is that? And it ended up being Annihilation. So I guess this is the 10th anniversary edition, but I've been wanting to try to get a little more into sci-fi, so I think this will be a good start. And then at Paper Source, I got another Lego flower set. I have such a good time doing these, and it's kind of very mindless, and I like just being able to focus on something for a while with like random stuff playing in the background. Not that Carrie Cakes is random, but I like her vlogs, and it's just, you know, they're calming and soothing, so that's why I put her on in the background when doing these. But I had never seen the Plum Blossom kit before, and I have a Cherry Blossom one, so I thought it would match that a little bit, so I'm excited to do this one.
maybe in a later vlog. We'll see. And then I also got some mushroom themed stuff. I'm obsessed with mushrooms lately. But I got this little sticker. It's like a gnome with some mushrooms. Hopefully you can see that. And then I got this mushroom planter water dispenser. I'm so bad at watering my plants, so I feel like a cute little mushroom will remind me to fill that even, and then it'll do it itself. So hopefully this will work because our plants are dying and I need to save them. And I've been eyeing this for a long time because this was in the like spring paper source and I was so happy they still had this stuff. So yeah, we'll see if this works. But yeah, if you've made it this far, you got a little treat with the mini haul. But thank you guys for watching and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.